Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're talking about this, which is basically a multi-tool survival hatchet. So I recently tested out a product from this same company. I believe it's pronounced Iunio, and I looked at their multi-tool survival shovel, which was a pretty large shovel that had a modular handle where you could store different survival tools inside. And this is a similar type of product. Obviously, this is going to be used for chopping, hammering, and then inside there's a couple other tools. The cool thing about this is that it's $29.99, I think, on Amazon. So for under $30, you can pick up something like this. And as is true with any multi-tool, a multi-tool within a wrench is not going to be as good as a standalone wrench. A multi-tool axe is not going to be good as a standalone axe. But could this be a tool that you keep in a bug-out bag, an emergency kit, in the trunk of your car? Let's test it out and find out. So let's look at some of the different tools here included with this survival hatchet. Obviously, you're going to be able to chop with that, which we'll show you in a minute. You can hammer with the pommel on the back. You do have a couple different sections here, so let me loosen this up. You can take the head off here, and then when it's loosened up like so, you can obviously use it as a more precise, kind of fine work, do some fine detail work with this. Easier to do than when you have the whole handle attached. So there's one section. Let me just put that gently down here. So you've got the handle here. You can see they've included some digital camouflage, kind of like padded tape, and so that's going to give you a more comfortable grip than this very textured, basically the handle. So here, let me show you the other two sections here, or three sections. You've got the bottom here, which I will take off. You can see we do have a lanyard included. And you can see compass on the bottom, and I have used this one actually quite a bit, and it works. Sometimes you get a cheap compass that doesn't work, but that does work. It does have a glass breaker there. Again, that's why I think, if you kept this in a car, if it's in the back of your car and you get in a situation where you need to break out, it's going to be hard to climb back. But if you needed to break the glass on somebody else's car to extract them, now you do have the glass breaker. And then let me separate these other two sections and just show you real quick. So empty, let's see if you can see there, empty tube there. But we do have a knife with a little bit of a serrated back, saw back. It does have a bottle opener. And then just spin this real quick. You can take the knife section off, and let's see if I can do this. All right, so we're learning as we go here. I purposely taped this up to the line that I saw so that I wasn't taped over the different sections. I didn't realize that the fire steel I had actually taped over where that section came out. So there's your fire steel as well. So I'm going to tell you that when you put the this more comfortable grip tape on, you're going to have about that much space. That is able to be covered without covering up different sections. Now you could tape the whole handle if you're just going to be using it primarily as an axe, and then you have to take that off if you want to get access to the other tools. What I would do is I would just tape, that one gripped area, and then don't tape over the different sections. So you've seen the tools. We got that glass breaker I already showed you. They got the fire steel here. There are O-rings for the different sections. So, and then you can see that is totally empty. Let's see. Yep. So that's not the saw portion, it's just toward the tip of the knife on the back, not the bladed portion obviously. But that definitely works. And this does have threads on it. So hypothetically, you could take that out and replace it if you wanted to at some point. And then on the bottom of the fire steel is a whistle. Good high pitch. Wow, that is loud. That will definitely get attention, that survival whistle there. Let's just test out the knife a little bit here. Cool thing is that I've got that padded section with the, put together for the handle of the knife. So definitely cuts. One of the challenges with any of this type of gear, let me show you the knife and then also show you the axe head here, is I don't know what the steel is. So I don't think it's anything super high end, which means that as you use it, you're gonna have to resharpen it. But just to show you that it does work. And then we got the saw portion on the back. Even these ones on like Tops knives, they're for making notches and tiny little cuts, but you're not gonna do any serious sawing with them. But just to show you that it can work here. Just kind of dragging the piece of wood back and forth. can see that little notch there. Let's see if you can see that a little better. Yeah, there you go. So I made a little notch. Again, anything that has a sawback, I don't put a lot of credence in a sawback. Just your length of pull is so short. If you really want to do any sawing, you got to get a folding saw, a Silky, get a Baco, get a Corona folding saw, or obviously a bow saw can work as well. But obviously it does work, and the knife does work as well. All right, so having tested out that multi-purpose survival shovel a couple months ago, I'm not surprised that the knife cuts, that the serrated back can saw a little bit, that the compass works. I'm sure they're using the same factory to get the compasses for this thing as they did for their other products. The biggest question in my mind is about chopping with this, because you have different sections. So as you're swinging and chopping, does it start loosening up? I did find that a little bit with the shovel. So let's see how it works chopping with this, and see if it loosens up as we do that chopping. So you can just take a look and see here. Obviously this is an older log. It's not something that just fell recently, but we are way down into that log pretty quickly. Loosening up just a little bit there. So you saw it do some chopping there. It did a good job. I'm going to tell you that it's been snowing and raining here, and I'm in basically a pine and birch forest, so definitely soft woods. But regardless, it still definitely did the job. What I can tell you is that as I was felling that slightly larger dead pine tree, when I chopped in and then kind of twisted to pop out some of the wood, it did twist the axe a little bit, so I had to re-tighten it. I'm checking the head right now, and I don't feel any movement whatsoever. I haven't been chopping for 3 hours or anything, but this is also, this is not designed to be something that you're going to be felling massive logs to make a log home. This is going to be processing some firewood, doing some small chopping. You can see I made here a little bit like the beginning of a tent stake. I can tell you that I did this just with the axe as is. If you do take the head off, just be aware that this edge here underneath, I wouldn't say it's sharp. I don't know if you're gonna strike a fire saw off it necessarily, but it's not rounded. So as you're pushing, eventually it's gonna start irritating your hand. So I would probably keep it like this, or maybe take the bottom half of the handle off and hold onto the handle in order to do more of that detail work. Just to show you here that the hammer does work, obviously. So obviously you can use that back end to hammer in tent stakes and do other tasks as well. What I want to do now is just roll in some stats here at the bottom of the screen as far as length and weight and such. What I can tell you as far as how it feels when it comes to the weight is that it feels pretty lightweight to me. I looked at a review on Amazon and somebody said that it feels heavy, but it feels pretty lightweight to me. I think that's going to be because you have pretty much, a hollow tube from end to end. There are elements in there, but it's not a full piece of metal. Chopping, I would say, worked quite well. If I redid this, I would probably put some here and put some down here as well, so I could grip like right here. I wanted to keep moving my hand down to get more swinging power. Up here, obviously, you're gonna have a little bit more control when you have the camo tape right there. So yeah, definitely did the job. You could see the profile of the head there, very thin. So it definitely chops into the wood and gets into the wood. As far as splitting, it's going to be probably a little bit more work. You want a little bit wider of a profile if you're going to be splitting a ton of wood. But it worked well. No looseness. No. Looks like the bolts are solid. The good thing is, if these do come loose, you can just crank those two down with a hex wrench. But yeah, it's working well. It's working well for me on some of the basic tasks, and then a little bit more aggressive use as well. Let me wrap up here and offer you some thoughts, kind of run down some of my reflections, having used this both on camera that you saw and also off camera as well. First thing I'll say is, like I mentioned at the beginning, a multi-tool is never going to work as well as a standalone tool. So this is an axe and other things. It's never going to function as well as a standalone axe. If it was a shovel and other things, it won't function as well as a shovel that's just a shovel by itself. That being said, you're always saying, how much am I losing for the multifunction versus what am I gaining? I think this is a great tool to stick into like an emergency car kit or something like that. Now, if you already have your hatchet or your axe, a folding saw and such in your bag, then I don't know, and a knife, let's say, then I don't know that you want to put this in. But maybe you're building a bag and you're like, I don't have money to get all those things. Spend 30 bucks and you're getting the hammer, you're getting the axe version or the axe portion. You're getting a blade. I would definitely buy a small fixed blade for 10 bucks and use this one as a backup. You are getting the fire steel, you are getting the whistle, which I think is probably the best part of the entire thing as far as its function. It's a very good whistle. You're getting a compass, and you know, for under $30, I think you're getting a good budget-friendly item to put into an emergency bag, bug-out bag, car bag, whatever the case might be. If I was going backpacking with a bunch of friends, would this be something I would bring? I might bring it. I wouldn't count on this as being my one-tool option going out into the woods with just this and surviving in the woods. I would choose a folding saw, a knife, and a hatchet over taking this by itself. Again, but we're talking about price, so you got to think about that. You're going to pay probably more for those 3 items, purchasing them individually, than this. This, I think, could certainly be used as just a camp tool. You could keep it, like I said, in one of your emergency kits or bags. And yeah, I mean, I think really at the end of the day, what you're getting here is something that's budget friendly, that probably gets you into having more experiences out in the woods. And then you can, as you refine your skills a little bit, you can go, okay, I want to step up and upgrade this particular tool, and then you can invest more in a different type of tool that's just an axe, just a hatchet, just a knife, etc., etc. I'll tell you the biggest thing that surprised me was I thought when I was chopping with this, it would be, shifting and moving a lot, and it doesn't. So that's pretty impressive, actually. The only time when I was chopping that it started to move was when I chopped in and started to try to pop out the wood, and then the handles spun a little bit. And there's, if I chopped for probably 40 minutes, it would probably loosen up a little bit, but it's not like it's rattling and shaking a ton after 2 minutes of chopping. So I was actually pretty impressed with the fact that it didn't start kind of disassembling itself with mildly aggressive chopping, I would say. As I was doing a little research on this, I noticed that Chris over at Drop Forge Survival did a review on this. I didn't want to watch it before I did my review, so I'll watch it after this is done and the video is uploaded. But I'll put a link down to his video in my description section. Check out his thoughts on this tool and what he thinks about it. I think he's got I think I saw 65,000 views on this tool. So obviously, people have been interested to hear more about this, and they've watched his video quite a bit. For me, bottom line, good entry-level tool. It's budget-friendly, under $30. And if you're interested in purchasing this, I've got a link down below in the description section. You can head over to Amazon and pick up one of these tools. I wonder if more and more companies are going to start trying to do this multi-tool, survival shovel with a bunch of things, survival axe with a bunch of things. We'll see what the genre looks like going forward. And if you have one of these, or if you get one and then you use it, put a comment down below or shoot me an email. everydaytacticalvids@gmail.com, and let me hear your thoughts on this survival, emergency, budget-friendly camping tool. Thanks as always for checking out the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.